Oh, we are live again, boxing fans, on a Friday.
That's right.
Coach Diz here in the house. We're here as the Zapata brand boxing podcast brought to you by Ringside, ringside.com. If you go to ringside/podcast, you would get 40% off by just entering save 40 in the promo code. Interesting to have them on board. I used to get their catalog delivered to the house.
You know what? I was going to say, this is my first time on the podcast since being sponsored by Ringside. And I used to love those little brown focus mitts that they had.
The little brown focus mitts they had. Yeah.
My gosh.
That's the first people that came out with them. They had them. They had some real good equipment there. And they have exploded, and they're good enough to put us on to sponsor the podcast. And as always, guys, go visit our sponsors. They support our podcast. We had Jim Lampley on today. I just had him on the podcast, one of my longtime childhood heroes. To have somebody like that on, and somebody that you grew up with, and he's the voice of your childhood, and he's there answering your questions and telling us about the fights. It's an amazing thing. I never in a million years I think a dumb bagel guy would have something like that happen.
Not at all. Not at all. I was shocked when you told
me that. Fred Sternberg hooked us up. Fred Sternberg, Hall of Famer Fred Sternberg. This year. Yeah, this year he's going in. I'd like to go there and see him up there in Calistoga, New York, there at the International Boxing Hall of Fame. But to start the podcast off first, as everyone knows, I'm fighting this month, next month, April 27th. But last time I fought was November 17th, 2018. Same place, same guy, same place. And at that time, a friend of ours, Jimmy Scott, was there. Unfortunately, an untimely passing of our friend Jimmy Scott. Died unexpectedly. He was a childhood friend of ours. Our condolences go out to his family, his friends and family there in New Jersey. Again, Jimmy Scott was a good friend of ours. He came to our fights. He enjoyed our company. We knew him growing up. And our condolences go out to him, his family, and his loved ones.
Yep.
So, all right, that's not a good way to start.
No.
But we'll go into what's going on this weekend. As me and Mr. Lampley were talking about, boxing is the theater of the unexpected. And 2 weeks ago, it was Keith Thurman versus Tim Tszyu. I believe this was going to be a absolute destruction because Keith Thurman hadn't been in the ring in 2 years.
Yep.
He hadn't won a significant fight in probably 5 years. A significant fight. But his record was tremendous. I was going over it with George Djokovic yesterday, and he had a great career going. Inactivity kills you.
Yep. Injuries kill you.
Injuries. My bicep, my other bicep, both torn. Stuff like that because of inactivity. Then all of a sudden your promoter, the biggest nightmare you could have is your main event falling out, which the name of the main event, Keith Thurman was the name in this main event. Tim Tszyu.
Hold on, but was he? I mean,
yeah, Tim Tszyu is huge in Australia.
Yeah.
He's not big here in the United States. He's not a big sell. Now, good looking guy, great, good physique, can sell, marketing guy. He could be in the United States, but as of right now, Keith Thurman was the name that was on that marquee that you wanted to see.
I'll tell you this, it shouldn't have been a pay-per-view, but
it shouldn't have been a pay-per-view. But I'm going to get into what they're doing now, which is real important. So, Keith Thurman out, Sebastian Fundora in. Okay, that's a better fight.
Yeah,
a better fight, I think. But only in boxing can you go from a catchweight fight, non-title fight, and then get bumped into a unification bout after you just got knocked out a few months ago
by someone that
Tim Tszyu has beaten.
Yep.
So, but you can't do boxing math like that. You can't. It's a different style. Fundora is a different fighter than Keith Thurman. Totally different. Two things. I think this is going to be the end of Keith Thurman. The recovery of a torn bicep, I'll tell you right now, is 6 to 8 months.
He did post that he was going to get an MRI or something like that.
Yeah, that's a torn bicep.
Yeah.
I could see it all the way through there. That's exactly what happened.
Did he say how he did it? I didn't see
probably that. A left hook. I mean, that's always what happens with a torn bicep.
It's happened to you.
Happened to me. Torn bicep, left hook. But it could happen to you.
Yeah.
But just pulling something.
Yep.
So, and it's at that age, 35 to 40.
Yep.
I remember my doctor said, "How old are you?" I said 40. He goes, "Torn bicep." That's what it is. Because it happens all the time. So
now, this is one of the things. He's going to get the surgery. I chose not to get the surgery. You got the surgery on one of them, right?
On one of them, I got the surgery on this one right here.
He's gonna get the surgery, but he won't be the same.
No, you can't, because when you do it, and you can see the one that does not torn, that's torn for you.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing it, it all of a sudden cramps up on you, and you think this thing's gonna tear.
Yep.
You'll never be the same. I've never been the same since that injury. I was never the same since I tore my knee.
Yep.
When I tore my knee back in
when you stepped out, when you were down in Berwick back in the day, you and Eddie.
No, but I did up at the Odyssey boxing.
Okay.
I was boxing Craig Stevens.
Okay.
And Jason Gavron was there at the time. And I went to throw a left hook, bang, and we just hit at the same time. He hit me in the chest. I hit him in like the half throat.
Okay.
Boom. And the way I fell over my knee. And Bernie Chappie's mom was there, and she said it was a loud bang. It sure sounded like a gunshot. That was when I tore my knee. I've never been the same since then. Never been the same. It just, once these injuries start piling up, and Paulie Malignaggi even said, your injuries start piling up, and it's little injuries, and it piles up, and at some point you just like, screw it. It's hard to get in shape for those fights.
Mm-hmm.
It is, unless you're on something, which most of them are. They're on something to get them back into shape. So
allegedly,
let's go to the fights. Tim Tszyu, he's streaking.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he's got a lot of momentum coming into this fight. The only caveat I would see is because his opponent keeps changing.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, boom, boom,
different
back
styles,
and forth. Now
styles.
This is a very different style.
Mm-hmm.
6'5.5", 154 pound, but he's like a Diego Corrales, likes to fight inside. Way different than Keith Thurman.
Yep.
What do you feel on what Tim Tszyu would have to do to win this fight?
I just think Tim Tszyu is just going to have to do what he was going to plan on doing with Keith Thurman. Although I know that Fedor is a lot taller than how tall is Keith Thurman?
So he's a 5'8", 5'9". Okay. They say 5'10". When they say that, you got to take off an inch.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been 5'8". I've been 5'8" for years, and I'm 5'6". Oh no, 5'4". They said I'm 5'4". Yeah, that's what they said. The doctor, he said, you're 64 inches. Well, I'm like 64 divided by 12. I said, what the? I said, I'm 5'4". I said, I've been putting 5'8" down on my thing.
But I just don't know how Fedor's going to react from being knocked out last fight.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He was part of my knockout of the year.
He was the knockout of the year, and the receiving end of your knockout of the year.
The bad part.
Which, again, in boxing, here's a guy who got knocked out, and now he's fighting for a unification bout. But you know what? It was smart for PBC to put him on the show.
He was on the card already.
He's on the card, and then now that guy seems like he's the odd man out, but he's not, because he'll get it. He'll get his shot.
He'll get a cut at least. He'll get his money, right? Or no?
I think he has a fight. I think he's got a fight.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure what they did with him. I'm pretty sure, but he's not the odd man out. I could tell you that he's not. He definitely has a stake in this fight because he's the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do think is going to happen is that Tim Tszyu, if he fights the way he should fight, fighting Fedor this way, I think he wins. I think he has to look impressive.
I think he knocks him out.
I think he'll knock him out. That's what I thought too.
8th round.
But I think also this sets up Tim Crawford, Tim Tszyu, Terrence Crawford, Tim Tszyu. I say Australia, D-style boxing. I was on the round table yesterday with Joe Beeb and D-style boxing. They don't think so. They think Vegas.
I think somewhere else.
I think Australia, only because it's massive. Now, they do have the buying rights over there, but it would be in an outdoor stadium, I believe. The gates are what's going to sell in this show, I believe, because you could have, look at George Kambosos when he fought Devin Haney.
True.
Two back-to-back massive shows, sold out, outdoor arena. I mean, you're talking big money there. Can you get that in Vegas with Tim Tszyu, Terrence Crawford?
Probably not.
I'll tell you what, Tim.
I'll tell you my area. I think they should go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but there's only so many fights they're going to take. They really haven't gone below that 180, 75 mark.
But I think Crawford is a different animal, and I think Crawford wants to, cash in. And then go.
You can say that, right? Mm-hmm. After the fight he once beat Spence. Mm-hmm. I see him on the Joe Rogan podcast. I see him all over the place, right? I haven't heard anything from Terrence Crawford. I haven't heard boo.
Well, I think it was more negotiation with.
But keep himself out there. Keep yourself out there. Keep the momentum rolling. Get
True.
yourself out there. Put yourself on different podcasts. Come on the podcast here. You can come on. We'll put you on. But get on and do different things where you can keep them. And when I was talking to Jim today, Jim Lampley, I talked to him and we were talking. Telling the stories about the fighters is very key to them becoming invested in those fighters.
Yep.
If you have that, and it's a little less expensive now to do, I think they can make someone a real good superstar. They just haven't done it. Now HBO dropping out, Showtime dropping out, all it is streaming. I don't know. That's a whole different thing now. You don't have those superstars that like that before.
Now, you didn't get deep into it with Jim Lampley about HBO, right?
I could tell he's not happy.
Okay.
Yeah, he was, and you know what? You if you go some place for 30 years and it got taken away, that'd be like if someone came here into the bagel shop and bought the bagel shop
out of the blue,
said, "Hey, we're going to pay you out," and you're like, "Okay, no problem," and then, "Hey, we're going to make this a pizzeria," and then you're out. You know, they just because they bought, it was AT&T had bought HBO, and it was time. I think it was Time Warner at the time. They bought them, and next thing you know, they said, "Hey, we're just not interested in boxing anymore."
So, you know, since the last fight on HBO, I have not watched HBO, not once.
Which is amazing because
not once.
I never watch it either. Like there's no reason to, with Netflix and everything else. No. I think live sports would be the way to go. And I think Netflix is getting into the live sports genre. And I think they're going to take over again. And, you know, I think HBO missed a boat on that.
Yeah, they did.
Even if they did a streaming service,
like why not PPV?
PPV.com. PPV.com is good because you don't have to get a subscription. Like I'll say that the Zone, ESPN2, you have to have a subscription that you're paying money for. Then on top of that, you got to pay the $69-$79 for the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
that's a little much for me.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mind paying for HBO or let's say Netflix. Let's say Netflix gets into the fray. I'm going to pay my $19-$20 a month for Netflix. Okay,
is it that much now? I thought it was like.
Oh, I don't know.
$10.
I don't even have Michelle takes care of the bills. Okay. I don't know. I'm just a squatter in that house. That's all. I just hang out there. So if it's $19 or whatever it is, let's say it's $19-$20. If they included that in your subscription, they'd get more people. If you have a little bit of HBO, and then you give them free boxing, which I'll tell you. This is what Prime's doing. Amazon Prime is now going to give away some free fights and then pay for the pay-per-view. That's a good market.
Yep.
That's a good marketing thing. Because I was watching Paulie Malignaggi on ProBox, and he said, that's exactly what HBO was.
Yeah.
You cable bill, you pay the cable, but then you get HBO free for whatever. And every now and then they'd have an HBO fight on there. That's a good fight, not a great fight, but a good fight. Every now and then you get a Gotti Ward. Every now and then you'll get but
you get the upcomers too that you get to see.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You get to see that.
Yep.
Then you have to pay for the pay-per-view. You'll get your $69, but it's easy and very easy to do.
And Amazon did that with football. The Thursday night games.
You know what? They were saying that.
The Thursday night games, they had it and everything like that. It was very cheap. It was actually, I think, free. And then when the first round of the playoffs, you got to get Amazon Prime Premium to get the Chiefs versus Miami Dolphins.
Is it easy to get or no?
Yes, you just go there and hit it a button
okay.
on your phone, your Amazon account.
Okay, I just didn't know if it was easy to get.
It's very easy, and it comes right up. But I was like, I'm paying for Amazon already. Amazon Prime. No, you need to get Premium.
Okay, well,
and again, everybody wanted to watch that game.
For who?
It was the first week, Miami versus Kansas City in the playoffs, and it was only on Amazon Prime Premium.
Yeah, see, that's how they can get you, and that's good. I mean, it pays off in the end.
Yep.
Because how many people do you think are going to buy a subscription for Netflix?
And I think
for Tyson?
I think they got like 180 million for that one game, and then that was
as far as what
Amazon Prime, like new subscribers.
Oh my God!
And then they took.
Is DirecTV doing that anymore or no?
They don't have NFL anymore.
Okay, is DirecTV bankrupt? They should be out of business by now. Nobody. I don't know anybody.
I mean, I
DirecTV.
had DirecTV all the way from Jersey all the way here, but then when COVID hit, I had to get rid of them because over where I live, they don't have internet access, so I had to go to Xfinity.
Okay.
That was the only reason why I left DirecTV. I was there with them for like over 20 years.
So wait a minute. So DirecTV is not in your area?
They are, but they don't service internet access. So you have to go to a third company, a third party.
Okay.
And then
that sucks for them.
It was $140 just for the internet because Tiffany had to do homeschooling.
Oh, shit. Yeah. You're right.
So then I was like, damn.
It gets expensive.
Bill,
it gets expensive. That's why I think ppv.com for boxing fans is good. You don't have to have a subscription. You get to talk to Kevin Iola. You get to talk to Jim Lampley. You get to talk to Lance Pugmire in the chat.
And you also get to talk to other people watching it. So that's good too.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, when you're doing a 7-hour show from Saudi Arabia and you're dozing off, yeah, it's good to talk to them because that show was absolutely the longest.
You might even talk to George Zapata there.
I was on there.
He was chatting.
He was in the chat. It was good, yeah. And when I chatted, I didn't realize it put Georgie Bagels on. Jim Lampley was like, Georgie Bagels is in the chat. I'm like, oh, jeez. I got real quickly. Then, well, let's go real quick then. Let's go with your picks. Your pick, Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fortuna.
I will I will say 8 round. It's between 6 and 8 knockout.
I'm going to go the same thing. I think Tim Tszyu blows Fortuna away. I just think the knockout's going to keep. It's going to be fresh in his mind.
Yes,
it's his first fight back.
Yep,
first fight back, and you're coming.
And he doesn't have good defense.
No, but it's going to be hard to get him. 6'5.5", big dude.
But he doesn't fight like he's
no. He fights like Diego Corrales. He fights on the inside. Not the smartest thing if you don't have a rock solid chin.
Yep, and he's not fast. He's not fast.
Not fast, but he's big. He's just so big. I mean, it's a
big pencil.
Yeah, a very big pencil. Yeah, not the great, but not great. It's definitely not great. But the co-feature for that is my guy there, Rolly Romero, Isaac Cruz. They're not fighting for a title, but I think they're fighting for the Ryan Garcia sweepstakes.
So
Ryan Garcia, Devin.
Unfortunately, I know Rolly's your guy.
He is,
and I know that they should have switched that main event. That should have been the main event.
Yeah. I thought so too.
That should have been the main event.
The problem was they had that they didn't realize that. Well, first of all, there was a catch weight on the first one. They shouldn't have been. There's more ramifications in this fight, Rolly against Cruz, than there is for Tim Tszyu and Fundora.
Really?
Yeah, there's much more because the winner is going to get the winner. I would think the winner of this fight of Cruz and Rolly gets the winner of Haney and Garcia if Garcia makes it to the ring.
Something's up with Garcia.
Well, a lot is up with Garcia. Garcia's got some real. The New York State Athletic Commission has requested a mental evaluation of him before he gets into the ring, and Garcia threatened to sue him, said it's discrimination, but it's not. The State Athletic Commission can do whatever they want.
Yep,
they don't have an issue with filing that. They would have to do something with that.
They're protecting themselves.
Yeah, because something happens. God forbid something happens to him. And I'm not saying he has CTE, but the way he's acting is goofy.
Yeah,
it's really goofy. It's affecting the show. I'm not buying it because I don't know if he's gonna show up. Maybe the day of the fight, but then even if he does show up, he's gonna get blown away in one round, and that's the end of that. There's
he might pull an Oliver McCall.
He possibly could. He possibly could. That could happen at this point. And at this point, anything's possible with him.
Yeah.
At this point, with him saying there's people getting kidnapped and what have you, he's got to stop. He's got to stop. I think Derek James about had it with him too.
Oh yeah, I was watching something. He was like on slow-mo, and Derek James was just looking at him like, "What is this guy doing?"
It's the stupidest thing. He's making himself look like a fool. It's not smart. I don't like it, and it again makes a mockery of this fight. And if I was a sponsor, I'd pull out because the stuff he's saying about the R word with children.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, you don't want to throw that out there.
No, you don't want to do it, especially on YouTube. You'll get banned.
But going to that fight, I think Cruz is going to win.
By knockout?
No, decision.
Oh, you think a decision?
Yep.
I think it's going to be a firestorm, and I wouldn't be shocked if Rolly pulled it off. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. Wouldn't be shocked. Although Isaac Cruz has good defense. You know, you saw that fight with Tank.
That's right. I think he wants that Tank fight. He wants Cruz again.
I don't think they'll give it to him. I don't think they'll give it to him. I think they're going to hold Tank. You know, Tank's going to fight Frank Martin. That's going to open up a lot of Frank. Exactly. That's going to open up a lot of doors for Tank. Actually,
I know
Frank Martin is an undefeated fighter, but not well known. I don't think Isaac Cruz is well known either. Tank's got to fight one of the big guys, Haney.
But I think Tank put Isaac Cruz on the map a little bit.
Maybe, but
put him on the map a little bit because he did pretty good against Tank. I mean, he did good. He did good for
an injured Tank.
But he only trained for about a week. 2 weeks?
Yeah, and he looks heavy. He looked heavy. Do you see the press conference with Rolly? He looks heavy, like chubby. You know, it looks very chubby. So I don't know if he trains as hard as, you know, these guys that they get out of shape. They blow up 25, 35 pounds over that.
Speaking of shape, we'll go after that. But are you done with that fight?
What's that?
Are you done with the Rolly? You done?
Yeah, we're done. We're done with Rolly.
Talking about shape.
Yep.
Tyson Fury. Did you see the picture?
Tyson Fury looked tremendous. I don't
know who's in better shape, myself or Tyson.
You do look good. I will say that. Coach Diz dropping down. He's not going to make the 189 weight limit that I am going to make, but he's going to be close. So remember, that $1,000 bet's still out there. It's not going to happen because you have a month. And almost exactly a month. What's today's date? Yeah, almost exactly a month before I go back into the ring. 189, 190 will be the weight limit. Training's going pretty good. I've been there daily. Not going to spar yet till about April 1st, and then we'll go about 3 weeks of heavy sparring, and then last week we'll taper off. And
what do you think your most important thing is to concentrate on?
My most important thing is probably my hand speed. Get that back up to speed because Sean comes in, he punches very hard. He comes in, he comes in behind that jab. He's getting some great sparring in Philadelphia. I know that
he was at like the Front Street
Gym down in Philadelphia. He's getting some great sparring, and you know that's invaluable. When you're getting in there with the good fighters, it's invaluable. That's an invaluable lesson. It's an invaluable experience.
Yeah.
The conditioning, as you can see right there, is the promo. That's the poster that'll be out there. April 27th, 6 p.m. Berwick High School.
Now that was a couple of things that you talked about with the fighters. They have to, like for Berwick, they need to get away from here to spar people in different cities.
It's hard
and stuff like
it's
that.
Hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. I saw the way it was with my son. You know, my son would do very well here. My son would do very well in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Pittston, whatever. You know, the first kid he fought from Philly. That was a tough fight.
Yeah,
you know, tough fight, first loss. So you know, it's a different ball game. But we still have to we still have to use what we have.
Yeah,
this is what we have.
You got to do that.
You know, put ourselves in uncomfortable positions to make this fight easier. I don't know how easy the fight's going to be. I have no clue. I might be on World Star Hip Hop the next morning getting knocked out.
And if you are, it'll be posted on here.
It'll be posted right on here. You know, I am keeping
knockout of the year.
I am. Yeah, I am.
If you do.
That
is going to be 2024 knockout of the year.
Yeah,
I guarantee it. For me, I don't care.
Put it up. Put it up. I don't care. Put it up. What are you going to do? If you get knocked out, you get knocked out. Listen, every fighter goes out with a loss. Every fighter goes out with a loss.
A lot of fighters go out looking up.
Yeah, they look at the lights. That's the way it is. I get it. 100%. This is what I signed up for. I get it. I'm not having any dreams of grandeur about this is going to be me putting on a performance that I did back in 97. It's not going to happen. I know that.
Nope.
And is Sean in that kind of shape? Probably.
Yep.
He's in good shape. You know, he's got over 40. He's closer to 50 fights now.
Wow.
He might even be 50 fights. He's fighting at the Masters International national tournament. He's been fighting for a while there. He's busy. Always busy. He's always working hard. He's putting his time in, and he's got a great fighter. He's got a great fighter there that he trains too, Olivia Ford.
Yep.
Number 2 ranked or 1 in the nation.
Should have
been 1. I thought she won a fight. I thought she won that fight. Could have went either way. But I'm not so sure. You know, sometimes judges see it a different way. We're not there at ringside, and maybe they see it differently than I saw it. I saw it on that camera view. It clearly said that it looked as if she was on the better end of that fight. Speaking of a rematch, Jenny Boberick is fighting from Berwick. A rematch of a girl that she fought, and I'm going to tell you what her name is because I don't want to do her.
Was
name.
that the February 24th card in
that was
Harrisburg?
That was the one in Harrisburg, and it was in her hometown in Capital Punishment. And
it was close.
That was as close.
It was close.
You know what's funny? Jenny's a nurse. This girl's a nurse. She's blonde hair. Jenny has blonde hair.
Wow.
It's like it's Ashley. Nope. It's Mackenzie Mazur. She's going to be on the podcast next week promoting a fight. And
which one? Both of them or just one?
I think they're both going to be on.
Okay.
I think they're both going to be on. Our guys will be starting to get on a little bit more. They can be in studio. That's a little easier. Yeah. They're going to be on the podcast, but Ashley Mazur is going to be on next week to talk about the rematch. Now, she's coming. The difference is going to be what adjustments they've made from that fight to now. Repeat revenge. This kind of fits into the category of what we're doing. Me and Vershawn, these two going at it again, and there might be another rematch on there. I am not sure if there is,
but I don't know how much in a month. That's month and a half.
I'm talking conditioning.
Okay.
I'm talking conditioning.
Okay.
Now, did Ashley? What's her name? Ashley
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. Did Mackenzie celebrate the win? Take a victory lap? I don't know. She's a nurse. She works a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't know. That's the key to this fight. Whoever's in better shape is the key because they're even. They were even.
Yeah.
You know, both of them landed great combinations, great punches. So what's going to happen is whoever put the time in from that last fight to now, I believe wins. That's my opinion on them. Now, also,
Dimitri's on that card too.
Dimitri, 14 years old, and everyone's matched up. That's a good thing. There's 11 fighters that are matched up from Berwick fighting. What in the world are you doing?
I know I'm touching it. I'm sorry.
Don't. There's 11 fighters matched up. This is going to be a pro Berwick card as opposed to one of the other ones that we did have that wasn't pro Berwick. There was a lot of other outside fighters. Not to say that that's bad. It's just that we need fighters here so that kids can come here and come to the gym. We want them to come to the gym. They can come to the gym, support our gym. One of the other things on the show that I'm very excited about is the Teddy Atlas Fighter of the Night trophy. Teddy Atlas was gracious enough to donate a large sum of money to the gym, Rocky Boxing Club, which is a nonprofit organization that helps the kids maintain themselves disciplined and off the streets, help them with school and what have you. And he was able to donate to the gym itself. It's a nonprofit organization. So what we do is we give it back. And what we have is a Teddy Atlas Fighter of the Night trophy that we're going to give out at the end of the night for the Fighter of the Night.
Okay.
I'm not eligible for it.
Okay. Makes sense.
So
makes sense.
If Sean knocks the shit out of me, I mean, he can have it all he wants, but I mean, I can't.
It would be great if Teddy can come.
He tore his ACL and MCL, so he is not. I know Teddy cannot come. He's in recovery now. I think his surgery was Monday. It was Monday. Surgery was Monday. I talked to George, and George did talk to him, and he said everything was good. Surgery went well, and it seemed pretty good. I talked to Sharon Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay,
I talked to her, and she said everything is good, and the trophy came yesterday.
Nice.
So it was good. Nice. That'll be something to look forward to. Maybe also we're going to have all the kids that are participating in this event are going to come onto the podcast. They're going to talk to us live or recorded wherever they can get to us and promote their fights, promote what they're doing, promote their social media.
That's how you get them out there.
Because social media is big for these kids.
Yeah.
Social media is big for these kids. And even the kids now that are doing this, and we're sponsored by Ringside.
Yep.
If they go to Ringside, it's easy. 40% off.
Exactly.
Promo code SAVE40. So all these young kids who are out there training and what have you, go there. Go to ringside.com. Go to ringside.com.
Checking out some of the shirts.
40. They're very nice. 40% off. I mean, you can't. It was $8 for a shirt. You can't even go to
I thought that I was like, there's something wrong here.
Nope, that's it. It's that, and
it says
they have
Combat Sports.
Gloves.
It says
it's a very nice shirt.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one of those shirts and wear them on the podcast. Probably when I do the watch along for the Zoo and Fundura fight.
So they're gonna watch you sleep.
Yeah, I know. I'm worried about that. I'm worried. Well, here's the problem with the other one.
Yeah,
was because it was a 7-hour show.
Yeah.
And there were some fighters I didn't know. I didn't really know.
It's tough.
It was two fights I wanted to see. Big Bang Zhang against Joseph Parker, and I wanted to see the main event.
Yep.
And the main event was exciting. As long as it lasted, it was exciting. So I was into that. That was good. But I'm watching fights that I'm like, this is bad. That one fight that I saw, oh good Lord.
So let me ask you something real quick.
Nick Ball it was like a judo match. Go ahead.
The watch along.
Yeah.
Could you have two people, or it can only be you? It has to be in studio, like
in
how we
studio.
You can't do split screen.
No, because how's the other person going to watch it?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, big dummy.
Makes sense.
Oh God, I think all that weight, you're losing some of your brain.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, what else is happening here on the boxing scene? Have you seen anything else coming down the pipe?
No, just laughing at some of the stuff Ryan Garcia is doing.
Well, that's the next one coming out. I'd like to go to Brooklyn to see that fight. I know Kevin Elliott might go, and if he does go, I will go too. We're going to meet up there if he can. We are going to meet up in Vegas for some of the fights that he's going to do, but I'd like to go down there and just to hang out there to see what it's like. I'm trying to get credentialed to something. That'd be my first credentialed one. I'd like to, but
that would be nice.
Oh, what do you get? It's credentialed dummy. They're gonna be like, what do you want to do? So again, I this is a hobby right now.
And just go to the press conference.
You can't.
Why?
You got to be credentialed.
Yeah, if you're credentialed, go to the press conference, go ask your question.
Yeah, I would do that.
Interview them, and then head out.
I want to see the fight though.
It's better. It's better on
I want to
TV.
see the. Yeah, it is. It kind of is.
I think UFC's better in person.
I'm trying to get to one. I'd like to go see one, but I'm gonna wait till Vegas till I go out to Vegas and see one. That's gonna be a good
Especially
one.
with Kim and Ioli, maybe he might.
Yeah, I think some of these guys will go in there. We can kind of get a meet and greet going, and then kind of say, hey, I mean, I'd like to buy a ticket. If I buy a ticket, I go front row. I'm not gonna sitting up in the back.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do what Vince McMahon did to Dana White?
No, I'm not gonna be sitting up in the nosebleed area. Hey, but who had the last laugh? Dana White or Vince McMahon? Oh,
wow,
not good.
Wow.
Anyway, other than that, that's all that's happening right now. We will be in touch the next couple days.
Yeah. Maybe next week have a show.
Next week we'll have a show. We're gonna get a weekly show together. We have a couple guests that are co-hosts.
Any upcoming guests that you're
Jim Lampley's coming in next week. His show will drop then. But then it's a lot of the guests of the fighters that are fighting on the show.
Okay,
so that's cool. What George Djokovic will be joining us next week. Kevin Ioli is going to give us an update on the UFC litigation lawsuit. I know that.
Yeah, I want to know more into it. I want
Here's the only thing I'll say on that in a last piece before we go. That is a good deal for UFC because they get, number one, they get a tax break. Number two, this is over. That lawsuit's over. And I don't ever want to hear an MMA fighter or a boxer tell me we need a union. It'll never work, and that just proved it. Right there. Don't ever come to me about a union. Don't ever come to me about a pension plan.
So do you think it was just UFC's money's too long?
What's that?
UFC money's too long, so they couldn't fight that, the other people.
No, they did. UFC didn't want to go to discovery and go to trial.
So they wanted that end too.
But think about it. It's worth $12 billion. Okay?
I thought
the UFC is worth $12 billion.
Oh, the UFC. I thought that lawsuit.
Their value. Their evaluation is $12 billion.
I thought you were talking that lawsuit was $12 billion. I'm like,
so when they make a profit or whatever, they got to have tax write-offs. $335 million tax write-off. Holy shit.
How was that a tax write-off again?
I have no idea. I'm not a lawyer, but I was told it was a tax write-off. 100%. That came from an attorney.
Hey, that's smart.
That's smart. Because then it can't come back on you. Yeah. That's over. That lawsuit's over. The antitrust and the class action lawsuit, that's over. So don't come at me with you fighters. Come at me and tell me we need a union. No, you guys blew it.
Just had to keep on fighting. Someone's
going to have to be that martyr. Someone's going to have to do it. And they had their chance. Because now the precedent's set. So here it is. Because in that lawsuit, nothing changes in the contracts. Nothing. The only thing that changes is the money. If the money was the issue, they just paid him out.
Yeah,
that's it. Now $335 million, right? There's 1,300 fighters in this lawsuit. They're not all getting the same amount of money. Right off the top, 33 1/3 goes to the law firm. These are two lawsuits that are settled over 10 years. Okay, so 33 1/3 is out. You're up to $210,000, about $210 million, right? 1,300 people. It's going to be paid out in 5 years, roughly. It's $36,000 a person.
Is
That's
it worth
if they all get that for 5 years. It's a full-time job, 40-hour work week for 5 years. And then that's it. It's over. I'm not going to say you would have gotten, because it was about $200,000 per fighter. And they're going to stretch that out because there's no specific time. Now, God forbid, it's 10 years. Usually they do it in about 5. They settle in 5. But if it's 10 years, that's even less.
Yeah.
That's even less. That's half of that. You're talking 15,000 or 18,000 over 10 years. It's not worth it. Just hang in there.
I mean, for UFC, it is.
most of those fighters are broke.
Yeah.
So that's what that does.
I think the only one, Brendan Rivera, I think he was the only one that was fighting in one, right?
One
championship. He was on. Wasn't he on that lawsuit?
That doesn't mean he's got money.
He was a champion. I mean,
that doesn't mean he got money.
I know, but
you got to think about that too. You got your trainers you got to take out. You got your taxes you got to pay. I don't think that's taxable or that stuff.
But one pays good.
A lot of these fighters, they don't have the money for this. None of these people have the money for this. I don't understand why people think these promotions have all this money. They don't have the money.
So let me ask you this. You're part of the UFC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you train at the
PI
for free?
Okay, here they go. Yes. They feed you, they take care of your trainers, they do all that stuff.
Why don't you just go there and do the fight camp?
Yeah, they do. Some people do.
I'm saying that's
that's what I'm saying. So yes, UFC, and this was explained to me by someone who was close to the situation. UFC is not just you're in the UFC and there's what you get paid is your value. There's a lot of value there.
It's a lifestyle.
It's the free PI, free food.
Now is that everywhere? Everywhere.
At PI, they have like 5 of them. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
You get all that. Then you have the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
You could do other things on the side with the signing the autographs and what have you.
They have medical people,
medical stuff, with trading, getting your surgeries done.
That's good.
So there's a value there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a value that's got to be factored in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with all the money with the money they get paid. I think they should be paid more, but there is value in what they do.
Yep,
it's a business. It's not a hobby. This is a hobby.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten a dime. I haven't gotten a dime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to be sitting here doing bagels for a long time.
2030.
2030. I hope I'm retired by then.
Nowadays, I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But either way, that's it. Coach Diz, anything else coming up?
No. Be here next week.
Next week, we will be here. Coach Diz, that'll be Easter week, right?
Oh, it is Easter weekend. That's weird.
It is. It's in March, Easter, March 30th. Yep. It is Easter. We are actually closed on Easter. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, I'm closed. Wow. I'm closed.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're feeling okay?
I'm getting older.
Okay.
That's the problem.
There you go.
I'm closed Easter, so we'll get a show here before Easter. We'll get one in there. Mm-hmm. But we have Jim Lampley next week. Most of the fighters fighting on the amateur show, April 27, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Berwick High School. Guys, if you want to order the fight this weekend, ppv.com. You get to go into the chat. Jim Lampley and Lance Pugmire, they're on there. They answer all your questions as the fights are going on. It's live. It's real time chatting.
Yep.
Do that if you can, please. And also, if you can, the tickets are on sale now. April 27, 2024. I return to the ring against Sean McFadden. Part 2. This will be it. My evil nemesis, Sean McFadden, against me. Live, April 27th. That being said, don't be envious of what I've accomplished in my life. Be inspired by what you can do in yours. Coach Diz, we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later.